Hi, beautiful friends. Welcome to this hip opening Vinyasa flow yoga class. This is a very effective dynamic class with a focus on the hip joints, where we often hold a lot of tension from sitting many hours during the day and from one-sided movement. So we will be using fluid movements as well as some deeper stretches to really get into those hip joints, to create some space and some mobility and kind of a feeling of freedom and of lightness. My name is Jenny. I'm very happy to welcome you to my channel. I have loads of yoga and meditation videos for you, so please go ahead and subscribe. It only takes a moment. I have also left loads of resources for you down in the description box below, so you could check that out too. But let's get right into the practice. I will show you everything without any props. If you happen to have yoga blocks at home and this is something that you enjoy using, you could definitely take them for this practice, but I will show you everything without. If you have very sensitive knees, maybe have a folded blanket close to you so you can have some cushioning if needed. And otherwise, you don't need anything but yourself, something comfy to wear, and your yoga mat. So let's get started. We'll begin this class with kind of a calming and grounding pose, but right away moving into the hip joints. So I'll show it from the side. We cross the right shin in front of the left one in our seat here. And instead of pulling the heels in towards the bum like we would maybe for a cross-legged seat, we rather keep the heels underneath the knees. You want to flex the feet slightly and then release the knees down. So you kind of have a triangular shape of your legs. You can move away your flesh of your seat so you can really feel the sits bones in the ground. And maybe this is plenty for you and you can already feel that hip opening here in your outer bum, but maybe you have some space and you can come onto the fingertips without lifting the bum and walking the hands forward. Yeah. Once you're here, or even if you are sitting upright, lower the gaze or maybe close the eyes if that's comfortable for you. And let's just take a couple of grounding breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. So you fully inhale through the nose. And then you open the mouth and sigh it out. Letting go of everything that has happened outside the yoga mat. Let's take another inhale. And then set it free. One more inhale through the nose. Feeling of arrival. And exhaling, letting go. Good. And then keep the gaze lowered. Walk the hands towards the upper body and then pass the body to lean onto the fingertips so you could change the sides. Left chin crosses in front of the right one. Once again, try and have your heels underneath the knees. Don't pull them in. Keep the feet nice and active. Release the knees. Keep the seat nice and grounded, and then once again, either stay with the long spine upright or come forward. Kind of keep your chest open here. You will feel the longer you keep the spine, the more you will feel sensation in your outer hips. And then once again, lower the gaze. Feel free to take a couple of more of these. In and exhales through nose and then out through the mouth before we begin to only breathe in and out through the nose. So take this moment to tune in, to feel the body, to send the breath into these areas where you feel sensation. And I want to invite you throughout this practice to withdraw from the screen once in a while. You don't have to always look at me how I am doing the pose, but really tune in with your body's needs and listen to its signals, to its wisdom, and just follow the practice in a way that makes a lot of sense for you today. Release, walk the hands towards the upper body and then lean onto the hands so you can unravel the legs, bring the soles of the feet together, drop the knees out for a butterfly shape. Maybe push into the hands and send the hips slightly further front towards your heels if that's not too much. And then interlace the fingers around the toes and bounce the knees up and down. It can be a very small and gentle bounce. If you're comfortable, it could be bigger. We really just want to kind of wake up the joints and get some energy going and prepare the body for our hip opening flow. So let's do this just a couple more times. Good. For you, more times. Up and down. And then we release, let the knees come to halt. Help yourself with the hands to bring the knees together. And then take your hands underneath your knees. Send the heart really forward. Pull the shoulders back. Nice long spine. Release the feet off the ground for a boat pose. So kind of start to really activate the body here. Strengthen the core a little bit. You could either stay or you can extend the arms forward if that feels good for you here in the beginning. You might feel your hip flexors. They have to work a bit. They start to engage. Chest is nice and open. We'll take one more full breath here. Good, and then cross the right shin over the left shin. Pull the heels in a lot this time. Make yourself all small and round. Engage the core one more time, one breath. And then with a bit of momentum, but mostly strength, roll over the toes, uncross your legs, and then step back into your downward facing dog. Good. We'll keep it easy in the first downward facing dog. Really loosening the legs, pressing the heels alternately down to the ground, so releasing the back of the legs. It's a nice moment to close your eyes and do any of the movements that your body is signaling you that it will enjoy. So maybe you want to move the knees from side to side to release the hip joints and lower back. Shake the head softly, yes and no. Maybe release the jaw. Notice if you're holding some tension there in the face. Good. And then slowly, let's find some stillness in the dog. So really spread out those fingers nice and wide. Place the palms down firmly. And then lengthen the arms, rotate the shoulders outwards. And then lift that lower belly in and up. So as if you wanted to draw it behind the navel up to the heart. And feel how that lengthens the spine from the inside. You can keep the knees nice and bent for more length in the spine. But you could also try and straighten them slightly, just so that the heels are kind of yearning down towards the ground. For a little stretch in the back of your legs, the hamstrings, which also influences your hip mobility. Let's stay for 3 breaths. Nice moment to engage in a soft ujjayi breathing. So a little constriction in the back of your throat, which results in a little hissing sound, or kind of comparable to the sound of the ocean on the beach, like waves on the beach. No need to exaggerate, just so you can hear it yourself. This also creates warmth in the body, so see how you actually feel about this today. You always have the option to breathe naturally. And then we begin to flow here. So inhale, roll forward, big wavy movement, shoulders over wrists, body in one line, press the shoulders apart. And then bend the legs, exhale, come back into your downward facing dog. Good, again. Inhale, roll it forward. Think cat back. So press the shoulders apart and press away from the ground. Look between the hands. Exhale, downward facing dog, long spine. One more. Inhale, roll it forward into your high plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. We'll move on from here. Inhale, roll it forward, high plank. And then exhale, bring the knees down. And with a long back, without arching the spine, lay down on the belly. Keep the elbows in towards the ribs. And then inhale, send the heart forward, point the toes, cobra. Exhale, lower, engage the core. Press back over the knees into your downward facing dog. Let's take a full inhale. Long exhale. Good. Right leg goes up on the inhale, 3-legged dog. Exhale, open the legs. So heel goes to the bum, knee points up. Again, inhale into the groin. And exhale here. Left knee points forward, even if the chest spirals open to the right. Inhale. Now exhale, close the hip, pull the knee forward, step the foot through between the hands. You can come onto the fingertips for more space. Left knee goes down for low lunge, engage the legs. Inhale, send the arms up. And exhale, find some stability in your pose. So you pull the right hip back, you send the left one forward. If this is a bit much for your left groin or for the lower back, simply pull the hip back just a little bit. Good. Fingertips want to go up on the inhale. And on the exhale, you kind of pretend like you want to pull your right heel back even further. Good. Let's take another inhale here. And on the exhale, bring the hands down, come onto the fingertips or onto the blocks if you have them. Extend the right leg, half split, Ardha Hanumanasana. Maybe flex that right foot if that feels okay. If that's too much, keep it a bit softer. Lift the heart, pull the right hip back slightly. And then draw that lower belly in and just maybe fold. We're still in the beginning of the practice. Don't force anything. Let's take another full breath. Good. And then we bend that front leg. We come up one more time into the low lunge. Sweep the arms up. And then you bring the hands down, frame the front foot, release the back knee. Try without sliding. Step back into your plank pose. Inhale. And exhale with or maybe without the knees. Lower all the way down into the belly. Let's do another cobra. Point the toes. Inhale, open up the heart. Activate the back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg goes up. Inhale. Exhale, bend. Heel goes to bum. Knee points up. When we stay for a moment, keep the arms nice and strong. Weight equally distributed. Right leg could always be bent slightly. This is a lot on the back of your leg. Breathe into the left groin. And then on your next exhale, close the hip, pull the knee forward, engage the core. Think again, cat back, press the shoulders apart, step the foot through, maybe walk it forward. Come down onto the right knee. This is where you might need some cushioning if you have sensitive knees. Low lunge, sweep the arms up. Good. Let's stay again for a couple of breaths. We want to lengthen out that right side of the groin, the hip flexor, but you could always take it a bit more easy. Neck is soft, face is soft. Good. Let's take another full breath in and a full breath out. Inhale here, and then on the exhale, bring the hands down, maybe fingertips, maybe blocks. Push the hips back, long left leg. You can bring the hands closer. You can bend the knee more. Find your expression where you know you can breathe well. Ujjayi or a natural breathing. Draw the left hip back slightly, send the right one forward just a bit to keep the hips nice and leveled. Maybe remind yourself of lengthening the spine, sending the heart forward. Good. And then we bend the front leg, sweep the arms up one more time, low lunge. And then bring the hands down, release the back knee, step back into your plank pose. Exhale, lower all the way with or without the knees, or option for chaturanga, elbows into the ribs. Inhale, roll over your toes for up dog or to stay with your cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Good, take a full breath in and a full breath out. We do the same sequence a bit more fluidly. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, open the hips, scorpion leg. Inhale here. Exhale, pull the knee forward, step the foot through between the hands. Left knee down. Inhale, low lunge, sweep the arms up. We keep moving. Exhale, half split, Ardha Hanumanasana, hands down, right leg is long. Go on. Inhale, low lunge, sweep the arms up. And exhale, bring the hands down to the ground. Inhale, step back into your plank pose. Exhale, lower with or without the knees, all the way or half, chaturanga, cobra or up dog on the inhale. And exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Left leg, inhale up. Exhale, open up the leg. Inhale, stay, breathe into the groin. Exhale, close the hips, step the foot forward. The right knee comes down. Inhale, low lunge. And exhale, half split, hips come back, hands come down, chest is open. We keep moving. Inhale, low lunge, sweep the arms up, big half circle. And exhale, bring the hands down. Inhale, step back into your plank pose. And exhale, lower all the way or half, with or without the knees. Do this with control. Inhale, back bend. So cobra or up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Take a full inhale. And a long exhale. Beautiful. Feel that energy flowing through the body. Inhale, come onto the tiptoes. Exhale, bend the knees nice and wide. Look forward. Inhale, step or hop to the top of the mat for a half forward fold. Lengthen through the spine, bend the knees. And exhale, fold all the way down. Good. Inhale one more time, half lift. And exhale, fold down. You come to standing with a straight spine, so bend the knees, send the arms over the side, reach it up, look up to the thumbs. And then exhale, bring the hands down together in front of the heart and next to the body, Tadasana. Inhale, roll the shoulders up. And exhale, bring them back and down while lifting your pubic bone and activating that lower belly. With this long spine, activated belly, inhale, chair pose. And then exhale, fold deep, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, step back and lower all the way or half. This is completely up to you. Go with the breath, with control. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right leg comes up on the inhale. Exhale, big step forward between the hands. You can always come onto the fingertips or walk it forward. Inhale, high lunge this time. Sweep the arms up. And stay for your exhale. Good. Now we drop the hands into the hips. And we lift the pubic bone even higher. We bend the back leg. This will make it easier. Lift the back heel. Lift the pubic bone. You should already feel a nice stretch in the left groin. And then take the hands behind the head. Interlace all 10 fingers. Press your head into the hands. Lift the heart up. Pull the shoulders back. This should give a really nice opening to the left groin. If it's too much, bend the back leg more. Good. Let's take another full inhale here. And then release the arms. Inhale, come back up into your high lunge, straighten the back leg. And exhale, now open for warrior two. Left heel comes down, right knee points forward. You want to make sure your head is over your hips and your front knee is over the front ankle. Feel free to adjust the step. Think inhale, length. And exhale, become a bit more stable. And this is a hip opening pose. I'm staying with the back to the camera so you can see I'm bringing my tailbone down. I'm lifting the pubic bone so I feel the groins opening. One more breath. Good. Inhale, straighten the front leg without pressing through the knee. Activate the thigh. Slide down for a triangle pose. Keep the shoulders nice and stacked. Chest is open. Left fingertips want to go up to the sky. Now you want to take some weight out of that right hand. You can even let it hover or support yourself just a little bit. Good. You can look up into your upper hand or look down to the ground, whatever feels good. Let's take another full breath here. And then drop that left hand into the left hip. Open the shoulder even a bit wider. Feel how your feet are placed, your hip is placed, the shoulders are placed. And then look down to the ground without losing any of the rest. Bend the right leg a lot for your half moon pose. Bring the right hand forward and to the right. You can come onto the fingertips or onto your block. Heel till the back foot in until you can slowly press up onto that right leg, keeping the hips stacked. The left toes are pointing to the left. The shoulders are nice and stacked. And the option would be to bring the left arm up, fingertips pulling up to the sky. Once again, try and take that weight out of the right hand. Option to keep the standing leg a bit bent if that's a bit much for you, the back of your leg. Let's take another full breath here. And then very, very slowly bend that right leg. Step the foot far behind you. You can keep the right hand down so you can come back into your warrior two on your inhale. And stay for the exhale. Only the upper body floats back. Inhale for a peaceful warrior. Find that fluidity. And exhale in one breath. Bring the hands down. Inhale, step back into your plank pose. And exhale, lower all the way or half for your chaturanga. Inhale, open up the heart space and your back bend. And exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Take a full breath in. And a full breath out. Inhale, lift your left leg up into the sky. Big step forward, use the core. High lunge, inhale, stand up, sweep the arms up. And first arrive in your pose, find that stability. And then once again, bring the hands down. This helps to understand this movement. So we bend the back leg so we can tilt the pelvis and bring the pubic bone up. This makes all the difference for your right groin. You should feel this. And the lower back gets nice and long. So now we can lean back, open the heart and the whole front side of the body without compressing the lower back a lot. And we breathe into it and need some balance as well. Keep your face relaxed. Keep the breath nice and smooth. One more breath. And then release, sweep the arms back up into your high lunge. So your back leg straightens again. And then with minimum wobble, open up the back leg for warrior two. So now the right foot is parallel to the short side of the mat. Head is over the hips, knees over the ankle. Arms are parallel to the ground. You pretend like your mat is slippy, so you pull the feet towards each other to find that stability. Feel the insides of your legs, your groins, maybe even the pelvic floor. Good. Long breaths. And then you straighten that front leg without pressing through the knee. Activate your thighs, slide down, triangle pose. Keep the chest nice and open. Don't think going further down makes this any better. You want to have a nice long spine, open hips, open chest, and light weight on the left hand. Look into the upper hand or same direction as the heart or even to the ground. Reconnect with your breath. Good. And then take the right hand down. Keep the chest nice and wide. Once again, connect with the position of your feet and of your hips. Look down, bend the front leg a lot until you can bring the left hand onto the ground and move it rather to the left edge of your mat. Bring the right foot closer until you have enough leverage to not jump but press up onto your left leg. And you kind of want your left fingers or your left hand, with or without the block, to be underneath your shoulder. This makes balance easier. Your heel is kind of on the same height as your hips. And then if you feel good, you can bring your right hand back up towards the sky. Without the block, the pose is a bit tricky, so just stay playful and patient and just try. Keep your breath flowing. If you need to leave the pose, try and always do so mindfully. And then take your time after your last breath to bend the left leg slowly. You don't just have to drop the right foot back, but keep the left hand on the ground and kind of as we got in, slowly, slowly bend the left foot, step the right foot back, and then come into your warrior two. Good. Peaceful warrior, inhale. And exhale, windmill the hands down. Step into your plank pose. Choose your favorite flow with or without the knees, or skip it, and go into your downward facing dog. This is where we will meet. So just take 2-3 grounding breaths, rebalancing the breath. Good. On the inhale, come into the tiptoes, look forward, and exhale, bend the knees a lot. We come to the top of the mat on the inhale, step or lightly hop. Half forward fold, long spine here. And exhale, fold. Activate the lower belly, inhale into your chair pose. And exhale, come to standing. Good. Take a moment to catch the breath, to rebalance the breath, and to feel all this energy that is flowing through the body. Good. And then one more time, engage that lower belly for your chair pose. Sit deep, sweep the arms up, nice long lower back. And exhale, fold all the way down, deep forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, step or hop if this is something that you practice, and lower all the way or half to the mat. Keeping the body moving, keeping the energy moving. Inhale, open up the heart space. And exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Take a full inhale. And a long exhale. Now walk your hands closer together so the tips of your thumbs are touching. Inhale, lift the right leg up into the sky. And exhale, now make a big step onto the outside of the right hand. Good. The left knee comes down for your lizard pose. You want to lift the heart up. So knee is over ankle. Maybe walk the foot forward if you have to. And if this is plenty, you can just stay here. If you happen to have some space, you can walk the hands rather forward, come into the fingertips, or maybe even come onto the forearms, onto your props. This could be some blocks or the ground. This is really up to you. Another option would be to lift the back knee, but try and find an expression of this pose that makes sense for you today. So this means you want to be able to breathe Nice and well. Let's take a couple of more breaths here. Good. Whenever you feel like you're distracted in your mind, and over, use these sensations in the body, any lengthening that you feel, any compression that you feel, just use these sensations as your focal point. So breathe consciously into these areas. See how these sensations change with a bit of loving attention. Let's take another full breath in. And then walk the hands back to the shoulders. Exhale it all out. Good. We stay here for a moment, but we begin rocking a bit from side to side. So we let the knee fan out to the side and kind of come onto the outside edge of the foot. See how that feels for your ankle and for your knee. If that's okay, then just keep the knee dropped outwards. If that doesn't feel good, just keep the foot placed down. Works both ways. Swim the right arm forward and around in a big motion so the arm pulls behind you. Option to have the hand in the hip and to open the heart. Or option to bend the left leg and grab a hold of the back of the foot or the ankle wherever you reach. This is kind of an intense stretch for the left thigh and the knee, which is responsible as well for our hip mobility. So if you feel this is too much, then just stay in the previous version. If you're holding the foot, then press into the foot. Like press the foot into the hand rather than just pulling it in. Let's take another full breath. Good. Now if you're holding the foot, engage the back of the leg, flex the foot, step the foot down, bring the right hand back onto the inside of that right foot. Now release the left knee, turn the right foot out like a blinker. This should make it easier for you to step it back into your plank pose. Good. Take a full inhale. Exhale, lower all the way or half. Inhale into your cobra or up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Walk the hands together. Inhale, left leg up into the sky. Exhale, big step forward. Once again, lower leg is perpendicular to the floor. Right knee comes down, heart sends forward. Option to stay here or to maybe walk the hands a bit further front, or maybe coming onto the fingertips, or maybe coming onto the forearms. Option to lift the back knee. Be aware that these are all just different variations of the same pose. They all have wonderful effects, so try not to evaluate any level or anything, but only what works for you today. Even if this might be different from last time, just go where you can breathe well and soften the face and soften the thoughts as well. In these kind of deeper stretches, we always want to take a moment so the deeper tissue can open up as well. And with hip openers, we always need a little bit of patience and repetition. So don't be impatient. Don't feel like you should be anywhere else than where you are right now. Appreciate your body the way it is right now. Take another full breath. And then come onto the hands. Hands are under the shoulders. We begin rocking from side to side in preparation, letting that left knee drop out to the side, coming onto the outside edge of the foot. And once again, the option could be to just keep the foot placed down if that doesn't feel good for your ankle. Right hand stays on the right shoulder. We swim the left arm around and behind us. And either we keep it in the hip and go into a small back bend here, into this twist, chest opens to the left. The hips are heavy. This should be already a good hip opener. If you feel like you could reach, then you can bend the right leg and grab a hold of the right foot, the back of the foot, the ankle, wherever you reach. Engage the foot, press the foot into the hand. Good. Couple more full breaths. Once again, before you leave your pose, first engage that leg. Don't just let it drop, but place it down in a mindful way. Swim the arm back forward, hands on the shoulders, right knee releases, left toe points outwards, and then we step it back. Feel free to skip and go into your down dog or flow one time with a lot of control through your vinyasa, just kind of to keep the body warm and to keep the energy going. Good. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Walk the hands together one more time. The tips of the thumbs are touching. Now bend the knees a lot. Either you take a hop or 2 big steps now with both feet, framing the hands. The toes are pointing outwards and we drop the hips between the heels for a Malasana, a yogi squat. You could move a bit to side to find your position here. If your heels come off the ground, that's fine. You could prop them up with your blanket or with your blocks, or you could balance up here. And if you take the feet a bit wider, this becomes a bit easier. You open up the chest, hands come together in front of the heart, and we kind of press the knees towards the elbows, just softly. So you have that engagement in the insides of your legs. Good. On every inhalation, you expand the chest, lengthen the spine. On every exhalation, you drop the bum just a bit lower. Let's stay for 2 more breaths. One more. Good. And then we release the hands, bring the fingertips behind us so we can sit down in a mindful way. Bring the soles of the feet together, kind of as we did in the beginning of the practice. Now the soles of the feet can open up towards the sky. You can even use your hands a bit for help, kind of as if you were opening a book. And then press into the fingertips and send the hips a bit higher now. Grab your feet, maybe open up them like a little bit more like you would open a book. Send the heart forward and come forward. And if we keep the spine nice and long, usually we don't come very far forward, so don't take this as your measure, but rather just work on opening the hips, pressing the knees down towards the ground, opening the feet, heart comes forward, spine is long, just maybe your elbows softly touch the lower legs. This is just an option. And then let's breathe into it. See how the pose changes over a couple of breaths. Feel free once again in the postures to withdraw from the screen and tune in with the breath and the sensations in your body. Your body is your best teacher, your best guide, so make sure to listen to it. Take another full breath. And then release. Once again, use your hands to bring the knees together. Now this time, cross the left shin over the right one. Pull the heels in, send the arms forward. Option to keep the toes grounded or lift them off the ground. Once again, engage the core. Make yourself all small and round. Let's stay for 1 more breath, strengthening the body a little bit. And then once again, roll over the lower legs and cross the legs. Step back into your downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths here to release, bend the knees, maybe bring them from side to side for some softness in the hip joints. Good. Lift the right leg up into the sky. Once more, open up the groin now. This should be feeling very soothing to open up the groin. Take a full breath in here. And then close the hip, pull the knee forward, and this time bring the lower leg down to the ground, so right knee to your right wrist for Pigeon Pose. Your heel can come kind of rather towards your groin, so your hip can stay nice and level. We push the left leg out behind us, and your right knee should be kind of in one line with the right hip, so this should not be uncomfortable in your knee. Now, instead of just folding forward, I want you to pull the knees towards each other so strongly on the mat you can actually release the hands. This might make you hover a bit, that's completely fine. You can keep the fingertips on the ground or bring the hands in front of the heart for a little bit of an action here in the Pigeon Pose. Let's take another full breath here. Good, and only then release down. If you're still hovering, feel free to prop up your right hip, but you don't have to. Hovering as well is fine. And then either stay on the hands or come onto the forearms, or maybe even have space to bring the forehead down to the ground. If it doesn't reach quite all the way, bring the forehead onto the hands. We'll stay here for a couple of breaths. If you happen to have a lot of space, there's the option, this is just an option, to bring the right arm forward and to thread the left arm underneath for a bit of a twist in the upper body. Left temple comes down, and then the right arm wraps around the lower back and searches for the right foot for a bind. Once again, choose your variation. You might be up here on your forearms. Feel free to close the eyes or to lower the gaze. We will stay for a couple of breaths. And I know that in these poses that are rather asking less muscle strength, it's sometimes a bit more difficult to focus. So once again, bring the attention back inwards. Breathe loving attention into these areas where you feel stimulation. Invite a feeling of release with every exhale. Good. Let's take our last 3 breaths in this pose. Okay, and then walk the hands back towards the upper body. Press into the hands, lean onto the right side, so onto your right bum, so you can bring the left leg all the way around you. We're going into a cow face pose, so rather further into our hip joint. So we want to stack the knees on top of each other. And I know this is kind of challenging, so if the knees are not quite stacked on top of each other, I'll show it from the side, then that's completely okay. You could use some props or just let the knees hover. Another option would be to extend the lower leg out and place the left knee on top of it. See what works for you. If this happens to be easy for you and your knees are completely on top of each other, then walk the feet further out. This makes it a bit more intense. And then once again, you have the option to stay all the way up here. Maybe grab a hold of the feet to make a nice circle of energy here, point of connection, or bring the hands forward and lower the upper body on top of the folded legs. Once again, try not to lift the bum off the ground, but keep the sits bones nice and grounded. And then breathe into your pose, whichever variation you chose. Good. Last full breath here. And then walk the hands back towards the upper body. Lean onto the hands, unravel the legs, stand the feet up in front of you in a wide stance and drop the knees from side to side in a windshield sweeper kind of motion to release the groins. A couple of times from side to side. And then either come over one side, or if you want to, you could once again cross the shins and roll over the toes to step back into your dog, or take one last vinyasa if this is what you feel like now. Just flow once again with your breath. We'll meet in the downward facing dog. Take what you need in this practice, rather postures, like restorative postures in between, like a child, or another flow. Good. We'll meet here. For the second side, left leg goes up, and then we pull the leg forward, the lower leg comes down onto the mat diagonally. Left knee to the left wrist, right leg pushes out behind us. And then before we lay down, check your alignment, so left knee is in one line with the hip. The hips are pointing forward, and then we pull the knees towards each other. This makes me come off the ground, but this really nicely activates the legs. The release will be so much sweeter after this. So fingertips can stay grounded on the hips or on the heart. Good. One more full breath. This is really strong engagement. I don't know if you can see it, but really pull the knees towards each other and then release. Take your time to come down into this pose. So don't just drop with gravity, but place yourself down in a mindful way. If you arrive on the ground very easily and you want to take the variation again, extend the left arm out in front of you, thread the right arm underneath it, so you twist the upper body to the left, lay down on the right shoulder blade, on the right temple, and then maybe wrap the left arm around your lower back and grab a hold of the left foot if it reaches. Once again, remember there are so many different ways of practicing this pose, so feel free to stay where it makes sense for you. Long, smooth breaths, ujjayi, or natural breathing. It's a nice moment to reconnect with your breath. Good. Let's take our last 3 breaths in this pose. Good. Walk the hands back towards the upper body. Bring some weight into the hands. Lean all the way over to the left side. Swing the right leg around for your cow face pose. Stack the knees, and once again, if they're not quite reaching, this is completely fine. All you want to feel is this opening in your outer bum. Very similar sensation to the pigeon, but now you might feel it on both sides. Option to extend the left leg out in front of you, or option to walk the feet further apart, depending on where you are today. Both sits bones are firmly grounded. And then you can choose to sit upright and focus on these sensations. Or if there happens to be some space, you could walk the hands forward. This can be a little bit, or this can be more. But you want to focus on keeping the sits bones grounded and the chest kind of wide and open. Breathe. Good. Allow those exhales to become a bit longer. Signals to the body that it's okay to relax now. So it might be a bit easier to let go of some of the tension. Last full breath here. And then we walk the hands back towards the upper body. And then bring the hands behind the body so we can unwrap the legs, stand the feet up one more time. You can lean onto the hands in a comfortable way. Drop the knees from side to side to release any tension in those hip joints. And then make sure you're sitting in about the center of the mat. Keep the feet stood up, and you can use the hands that are already there for support to lay down on the back. Use the forearms and then lay all the way down. Now from here, one last time, bring the soles of the feet together for your butterfly shape. Drop the knees out to the sides. You can either keep the hands placed on the belly or on the insides of your thighs, or if you want to open up the body a bit more, grab opposite elbows above the head, if that is comfortable. Now release the knees and the groins. Feel free to close the eyes. We have been working a lot with the back of our legs, the front of our legs, the insides, so all around those hip joints. So in this pose now, we want to give some space to this area of the body. Send some loving attention and some deep breaths into this area of the body, to also mentally allow for some tension to leave us. Maybe there's some conflict stored somewhere in the body. Maybe we can allow these tensions to melt. To leave the body on every exhale. We stay for 2 more full breaths. Good. And then release the arms. Use the hands to bring the knees together once again, and then pull the knees up towards the chest. Hug the shins and rock a bit from side to side on that lower back. Give yourself a nice massage against the ground. And then grab a hold of each knee with one hand, with each hand, so you can circle them away from each other and towards each other. One way and then the other. And you can do this really super, super slowly. There's no rush. It's just to bring some softness, some fluidity into the body, into the hip joints. To any other movements that feel good for you here, soothing. Listen to the body. It doesn't have to be a specific yoga pose or yoga move. Just anything that wants to be moved or stretched, just go for it. And then stretch out on your mat for your Shavasana pose. So give a lot of space to your legs. Allow the feet to drop out to the sides. Give space to your arms. The palms are facing up to the sky. Kind of a posture of surrender, of letting go. The shoulders drop into the ground heavily. The face relaxes. We take one last full breath in through the nose. And then we sigh it all out through the mouth. And with this, we let go of any kind of breath control. No more ujjayi breathing. Just release any effort and return to your natural breathing pattern. Feel free to stay in your Shavasana for as long as it feels soothing for you today. Give the body the chance to absorb all the effects of your asana practice. Give your mind the chance to rest for a bit. And whenever you feel ready, leave the pose in a mindful way before you start again into your day or into your evening. Thank you so much for your practice. I can't wait to see you in the next